still works great. And I'm going to show at the end of the video something that also works kind of nice with this build that is only going to be seasonal, so it's not going to work probably after this. But you can see this knife still just decimates everything. Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be showcasing a throwing knife nuke build. This is actually a revamped version of the one I've used in previous seasons that a lot of my friends wouldn't even take off because it was just so effective. It is still extremely effective for ad clear especially. So getting into it, let's start with the subclass. I'm using Gambler's Dodge to get my melee back anytime I dodge near an enemy. You can use it whatever jump you'd like. You need to use Proximity Knife for this build. I am using Firebolt Grenade, which I will get into here at the end of this explanation as to why, but this is totally optional. Aspects I'm using is On Your Mark. This is just for my guns, makes my guns better. This is not particularly important for this build, so it is what it is. We have Knock 'em Down, which is very important because at the very bottom it says, while radiant, final blows with your equipped throwing knife fully refund your melee energy. Okay, very important with this build. Fragments. I'm using Ember of Char for my solar ignitions, spreads Scorch to affected targets in the blast radius basically, so very important. I have Ember of Ashes, you apply more Scorch stacks to targets. We have Ember of Eruption, which is your solar ignitions have increased area, so as you can kind of get the gist, it's basically all around putting Scorch on enemies and igniting them. We have Ember of Torches, which is powered melee attacks, make like allies and yourself radiant when you get a kill with a knife. To put it simply. Ember of Searing is defeating scorched targets, grants melee energy, and creates a fire sprite, which is actually a new thing, which is also pretty cool. So that's what I'm using with that. Onto armor. I'll do this really fast as well. I'm using 2 hands-on mods, which should be hands-on. I don't know why I have that on, but anyway, 2 hands-on to get bonus super energy for melee kills. I'm using that with Harmonic Siphon, so every 2 solar weapon kills, which is I have 2 solar weapons on me, will make me an orb as well. The gloves you need for this build are CALIBAN'S hand. This is the bread and butter of the build. You definitely need these for this build to work properly. All because it says this perk here, Roast 'em. Your proximity knife scorches targets. It damages with its explosions. So when the proximity knife goes off next to an enemy and it damages that enemy, it will scorch them, which will obviously proc with any other scorch stacks. So it says it also ignites targets on final blow. So if you hit them with it and it kills them, it will ignite that enemy. After throwing a proximity knife, you gain increased melee regeneration until the knife explodes. So if you have 100 strength, like you see here, it will actually give you back your entire melee energy use, just letting it sit there if you happen to miss a target. So it's not that deep if you miss, you don't have to wait 100 years. So it's great for that. With the chest piece, I'm using double charged up just to increase the number of armor charges I can carry on me, as well as harmonic resistance for incoming solar damage reduction. The reason I'm using charged up is because of my weapons here. You can see that kind of tails into solar weapon surge, as well as another stacks on stacks to increase the amount of charges that I get. So I'm just getting extra solar weapon damage with the 2 guns that I use mainly with this build, especially Mini Tool. And the cloak I have on 2 time dilations as well as Reaper. So Reaper allows me to dodge and kill an enemy, and when I do so, it'll make 1 orb. So it's kind of nice, just more orbs. So I have a few ways to make some orbs from this build, which is nice, as well as just basically tossing your knife for 100 years. So that's basically it. And let's get into the gameplay. Just absolutely wrecks everything. And this still works with higher tier level enemies as well. You just have to weaken them first with a weapon. Like say like enemies in like higher level strikes and things like that. They just require to be shot first, since the game did get a little bit harder in that aspect. I miss this. This is fun. Go away, wizard. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to show it here while I can. So what I'm also using this with, which is completely optional, I'm running it with Rain of Firebolts and Flare Up. So I get 2 Firebolts grenades, as well as it doing additional Scorch to enemies. So I found that works really well with this as well. So try that out if you would like. Still blows up everything. With this build, you don't ever want to throwing knife anything that explodes, like any explosive shanks, cursed thrall. You don't want to ever hit them. You will not get refunded with your knife for whatever reason. So I guess that's a bit of a negative in that aspect, but that is the only targets that you don't have to throw a knife at, I guess. $42K. It's doing 40,000 for an ignition. Like, oh my god. It's just a room cleaner, this. Wow. So yeah, that's that, guys. You can see it still wrecks absolutely everything. Super powerful. And yes, this is a lower tiered strike, but it works exactly the same. I tested it out on Neomuna yesterday before I even made this video, and all you had to do is shoot him at half health, throw a knife at him, boom, the ignition still wrecks everything. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, feel free to hit the like button. The subscribe button also really helps me out. I just hit 300 the other day, and we're already at like 323, so thank you to everyone who's hit that. And yeah, if there's anything else in terms of questions or anything you want to know about this build, please feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you guys so much. Have a great one. Peace.